5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
This meeting is being recorded.
Thank you, robot lady. And good afternoon and welcome, everybody. It's one of the first times that we're having a lesson on a Sunday, the 27th of August. Thank you for accommodating me. I'm sorry about yesterday, the Saturday, but we can't afford to lose a weekend. We are already into September, and October is when you're writing your exams. So the strategy is we sort out the assignments, assessment 3, and we start with the revision for the exams. And our revision is going to be our past year exam papers. What do you think about that strategy, Marianne?
It sounds good.
Good,
we will
good,
assume
good.
you know.
Ah, great. Trust me, I know these things, Marianne. I've been doing it for a good couple of years. If you can answer all your assignment questions. I beg your pardon, Marianne?
I said, yeah, well, the rest of us are only going through here the first time round. You've been around the block a couple of times.
I've been around the block. You can see me, Marianne, right? Okay, so my strategy has worked thus far. None of my students have come back to me and said, listen, they've lost the bet with me and they feel that I must repay them the entire module fees. And that bet goes for you guys as well. If after having me as an e-tutor, you feel that you did not pass because you didn't listen to me, or you feel that you want a refund on your module fees, I will gladly refund you the entire cost 1511 module fees. Marianne, I'm not sure what the cost of the module is, Marianne, but I promise you I will do that. And in the 20-odd years that I've been doing this, no one has come back to me and said, sir, after listening to what you had to say in terms of the strategy of the tackling the assignment or working through all my quizzes and the past year papers, I want a refund. No one has told me that, Marianne.
Dr. G, excuse me, speaking. Yes. G, while we're talking about quizzes, there was something I wanted to bring up with you.
Yes.
It seems to me that the championships on my UNISA are not working. I believe the championship round 3 and the new championship round 1. You press on them, attempt them, and what the thing comes up with is there are not enough questions to generate a random quiz. So I'm not sure what that is.
Okay, no problem. Listen, I've got the quiz out here. I could share that with you if you like. So I was the one who created it, but thank you. I'll look into that. Marianne, while we're on that point, I'm also unable to see my students' responses to an announcement. So if I post an announcement, the students aren't able to reply to that. Have you noticed that as well?
Honestly, sir, I wouldn't know. I don't really, if there's an announcement that comes through, I kind of read it, but I don't generally respond to the thing, so to speak, I guess. So
Okay, no problem. If you can, just try it. One of my announcements, just say hi and reply to that, because it's impossible. I'm not seeing students, and that happened after the upgrade.
Yeah, I don't know. I really hope UNISA didn't train their IT staff.
Okay, no hassle. Right, so let's go for it. So today we're going to talk about the struts, and the reason I'm doing that, Marianne, is because Marianne, Struts, in honor of Marianne joining us on a Sunday. So I noticed in assessment 3, Marianne, there's quite a number of questions that deal with struts. Did you notice that as well, Marianne?
I have noticed that there have been a lot of things with structs coming up, but not in assignment 3 per se, because I haven't actually started on that just yet. I'm trying to get my 1521 in at the moment.
Okay.
Because it's in 1501 are both due on the 31st, so it's like,
Okay, no hassle. So we're going to talk about structs today. If you look at the assessment 3, maybe I should bring that up, and I'll show you why we're talking about assessment 3. Anybody else if you completed assessment 3? So let's look at, we've done 2-dimensional arrays. We've done it quite in depth, right? And we did reference parameters because that's what they're testing you on it. And if I quickly do a structs struct, and okay, I can't find it. Let's look for a struct out here. Let's see what they're talking about. There's the question on is it question 20? No, they're talking about strings. Oh, they're talking about strings as well. It's a good idea if you go through that one as well, right? So let me find the example on a struct here. And that's what kind of inspired me to take on the lesson on structs. Is there a question somewhere? It's towards the end, I noticed. Abdul, are you sorted out your mic sound issues? Abdul, no, you haven't. So Leslie, hello, Leslie. Say hi, Leslie. Tell me if you can find the question on structs out here. I know I saw it this morning. Ah, there we go. Question number 60. Consider the following struct definition. Struct, rectangle data, float length, float width, float area, float perimeter. Okay. And then they asked you which one of the following variable declarations is correct. Now, let's talk about this thing called a struct. For those of you who have started the assessment, you must have worked with structs. Anyone wants to talk to me? Tell me in their own words, what is a struct? Where does it come from? Hello? M. Moss, Philemon, Samsung SM, Leslie,
Hello,
Abdul,
hello.
Moss, M. Moss, go ahead, M. Moss.
From what I've read, I believe it works similar to an array, but the difference is you can group different data types within the struct itself.
Okay, so I like what you said. It's similar to an array. So an array is a data structure. A struct is also a data structure, okay? And I like what you said about in the array, all the elements are the same, but in a struct, the elements weren't the same. So give me examples, M. Moss. Sorry, what's your first name? M. Moss? Moss, or can I call you student Moss? Or
Yeah, that's okay, sir.
okay. Where are you calling me from, student M. Moss?
From what they call the Val triangle, sir.
Ah, the Val Triangle. I'm not sure if you're close to Marianne, who's in Eastern Cape, or Abdul. Who you be closer
No,
to?
that's
Oh, okay. Right. So student M. Moss, you're absolutely correct. A struct is a data structure. It's similar to the array, but the difference is whereas an array, every single element will be the same. In a struct, you can have a number of elements that are differing, right? So you can have one that's a string, another one that's a float, another one that's, and you put all of them together and now you are able to access that as one, all right? So as one unit. Now, student M. Moss, another way of looking at it is like considering your record as a student. You will have a student number, a surname, a name, a cell phone number, an email address. If I consider all of that together, then that is a record of you as a student. Okay, a student M. Moss, right?
okay.
But if I were to now consider taking Abdul with a surname, a student number, a cell phone number, and address. So that's also another student record. If I had to consider Marianne is a student. Marianne, you're a student. Marianne has a student number. She has an email address. She has a surname. She has a name. And that's another record. So I want to group all of that. And the way I do it in C++ is by means of a struct. So a struct is a data structure. In fact, that's what you can start off all of these things. An array is a data structure. One-dimensional array is a data structure. Two-dimensional array is a data structure. A struct is a data structure. But the difference in this data structure is that it is composed of a number of related, there's a big word I'm using, fields. So let's talk shirts, right? So there's lesson 28. In lesson 28, they're using an example of struct of shirts, right? So student M. Moss, I'm going to put this into code blocks. What do you say to that, right? So I'm going to put this into code blocks. And don't worry, Marianne, I won't only talk about the guys. We'll talk about dress sizes as well. Ha, ha, ha.
So you should have done hoodies. Hoodies are universal. Everybody wears hoodies.
Oh, okay. But I thought you'll get the joke, that I'm talking about. And I worked on that joke, I said, I'm going to tell Marianne that we're not just talking about Okay, never mind. I better give up on trying to be funny. Right. So here's my example of the shirt. I'm taking the same thing from my study guide, and I'm going to show you how you play around with it, right? So you keep this example as a template. So there's my template of my shirt sizes. All right, so here's my template, my shirt sizes. And let's just copy that there. Let's just go back here, Control V, right? So here's my, there's my program. Let me go and make it pretty. And aren't I the fast typist? So here we go. Again, I am now talking an example from the study guide. So what you should do is you should also try to work with what's in the study guide. That's another strategy. Make sure that you understand all the work examples in the study guide. All the exercises, you should be able to answer them left, right, and center. You answer the assignment questions, you do 1 or 2 past year papers, and you will pass. I promise you that. I guarantee you that. So student M. Moss, here's my example. Abdul, you're not around to find out what's my errors over here, Abdul. Oh, okay, no problem. No, Abdul, I'm missing you, Abdul.
I think there was a thing on the chat, sir, that did say he was still struggling with his mic.
Oh, okay. Right, so I think I'm missing. Right. There we go. So I've got everything working fine. So if I look at my, sorry, Mariam.
No.
Okay, right. So here's my record with the shirt in the right example. So like I spoke to you about having a student record with a certain student number, email address, and a surname and a name. In the example in the study guide, they are telling me that a struct, and this is a shirt record, and every shirt is going to have a size. That's an integer. So you're going to be size 32, size 33, size 34, size 40 shirt, right? Then they're telling me that the style, and the style is either A, B, or C. And they're telling me that the price is going to be float. So let's run this program. So here we have a brand new data structure. M. Moss has told me that it's a struct. He's told me that it's similar to the array, and but it has different fields in there. Let's run the program. All right, so run the program. It says, enter the size of the shirt. So M. Moss, are you there, M. Moss?
Yes, I'm here, sir.
Great. So what's the size? What size shirt do you wear, M. Moss?
Medium, sir.
Okay, so medium. What's the size? Size 32, or 34, or 36? Because you must remember, the way they've defined this field in the record is that it is of integer. So I've got to enter in an integer for this field. So what size is your shirt, M. Moss?
I'd say 32, sir.
Okay, so it's size 32, right? So size 32. Let's go on. Enter the style of the shirt. Is it a style A, a style B, or a style C, M. Moss?
Style B.
Oh, okay. I don't know what that means, but anyway, let's just go with style B, right? So it's a style
I have no
B.
idea either.
Okay, maybe A is for outstanding. No, absolutely outstanding, amazing. How's that? That A is for amazing. B is for what would B be? If A is amazing, it's an amazing style.
Boring.
B is boring. Thank you.
I'd say brilliant.
Who was that? Okay, B is boring style, right? C is okay, never mind. What's the price of your shirt, M. Moss? Oh, sorry, who said that? Who said something? Hello? C is? Hello? Okay, right. Okay, so how much is that shirt of yours, M. Moss? And you must remember that we got to enter it as a price, a float, right?
I'd say 259.
Oh, 259. Okay. 259, right? 259 and 32 cents. All right, so there we go. Ta-da! Wow, M. Moss, you have done it. You have now entered in your data into the struct. But M. Moss, we need to see what it is. You haven't done any output to this. Can we do some output on this little program of ours, M. Moss? So this is what I'm going to do now, right? So I know time is of the essence. It's a Sunday. We don't have time to go and we're just going to do some copy and pasting. Is that okay, M. Moss?
Yes, sir.
Right. So student M. Moss. So I'm going to quickly copy and paste it, right? So that I can see what it is. So this time I'm going to say the size of the shirt is, and watch this, M. Moss. It's not going to be a C in anymore. It's going to be a C out. So that's where I print out the, and let's go for style. So style, one of the ladies says B is for boring, right? So I'm not going to have a C in anymore. I'm going to have a C out. So I want to see what's happening in this. And there's the price of the shirt. And I'll take that out. And Marianne, you're supposed to see, you say I'm such a fast typist, Marianne.
Certainly, Dr. Banner, move aside. Yeah, Dr.
Thank you, Marianne. Thank you. I'm a fast typist. So this is what we've done. We've done a declaration out here. We've declared our record, right? So I'm going to say, there's my declaration out there. Right, so I've declared what my thing is. And in here, I have done some input, right? So input, and out here, I've done some output, right? So input. Remember I told you something about a program, Marianne, some time ago. I told you that every program that we're working with has input, something else, and output.
Processing inputs.
Yeah, so we have processing. So right now, in this question on structs, they simply wanted you to input the style of shirt. M. Moss, get ready. I'm Moss. Are you there, M. Moss?
Yes, I'm still here, sir.
Right. So let's go and compile this program. Yay, no errors. Let's go and run it. M. Moss, what's the size of your shirt again?
32, sir.
Right. What style is it? Amazing, boring, or style C?
B for brilliant, sir.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, B for brilliant, right? I don't know why the ladies are saying that. Maybe we're going to change it to shirt, to dress sizes now. Enter the price of your shirt. Your price was $2.59.32, right? So now we want to see if it goes and displays my fields in the record. Let's go and display the fields in the record. I hope it works. Abdul is here to correct me. He's my compiler, but I don't know what happened with his sound. There we go. The size of the shirt is 32. Style of the shirt is B. Price of the shirt is $2.59.32. Okay, it doesn't look so nice. Let's just make put in some lines out there. Student M. Moss, what do you say to that idea?
Yeah, let's go for it, sir.
Right, let's go for it. Let's put some end lines there, right? So it doesn't look too nice. We're going to say end line over there. We're going to say end line over there. We're going to say end line over there, right? Now the style of the shirt, right? Let's run it again. M. Moss, build and run. What's the size of the shirt again, M. Moss?
32, sir.
32. The style, B is for brilliant. What you said, brilliant?
Yeah.
Not boring. Okay. The price is $2.59.32. Ah, there we go. Size of the shirt is 32. Style of the shirt is B. Price of the shirt is $2.59.32. Okay. Now let's talk about what we've done in Moss. Wow, you talk. In Moss, what have I done in Moss? Tell me like a story time, student M. Moss. Talk to me like a story time. What have we done?
I'm not good at telling stories, sir, but I'm just going to give it a try.
Okay, start with Once Upon a Time. Once Upon a Time.
Okay, once upon a time, we were dealing with structs.
Yes.
Yeah, which by the way, they group different data types. So say there's a part there, line 16, line 15. is the input part, say, but line 13 is the name of the struct, say, I believe is shirt1, which is the name of the struct variable.
Yes. Go on. You're doing well. You're doing well. Excellent, Moss.
Why does it feel like I'm not doing well? Anyways,
No, you are. You're doing well. I'm getting worried now. Maybe you want to take over my job next year.
no. From what I see, it's in line 17. If you are going to input something using a struct, you are using a dot operator.
Yeah, so that's a full stop. That's very important in your study sum, right? So if you want to access the fields of a struct, you got to access it by the name of the struct and its field name, right? So it's shirt1, full stop, or you want to call it a dot size, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And in line number 18, what am I putting in or inputting into my struct, or I'm reading into my struct?
The style, sir.
Style. Okay, so style is the field. Think of it like that, right? So style is your field name, and shirt1 is the struct name, and shirt is the struct type. All right, so that's kind of where you're going to do it, right? I think that was a lovely story sum. Student M. Moss, do you have any nieces, nephews, or anyone you can tell them a story? You start it off like that. Say, once upon a time, there was a struct. This struct had 3 fields. And the 3 fields were size, style, and price. Size was of type integer. Style was of type char. Price was of type float. And in line number 13, we now declared a variable shirt1, and that had the fields size, style, and price. You like my story, M. Moss? You think your niece or nephew or your neighbor will like it?
It sounds like a bit of a mouthful, sir, but yeah, I like it.
Yeah, right? So I think you did a very good job. Let me ask Marianne. Marianne, student M. Moss told us a story. Do you like your stories, Marianne?
Yes, I just wish you could tell it a little bit faster. It reminds me of this movie I used to watch when I was a kid. There's this aunt who's telling her niece's story, and the niece eventually ends up shaking the aunt and saying, "Read faster or else you'll fall asleep." And it's like, come on, where's the next?
Okay. Right, student M. Moss, you just got to go a little bit faster for Marianne, all right? She's a bit of a fast girl, you know, so. All right, cool now. So the important point is I want to extract data from my struct, and in line number 20, lines 24, 25, 26, 27, that's where I extracted my data from my fields. And in order to do that, I simply went and changed around the C out into a C out, all right? And I did deliver that. Now, I don't want to be called sexist and all of the student M. Moss. I'm going to, if you don't mind, I'm going to put some dresses over there, right? So I'm going to do a quick search. You know, I don't have time to going and doing it. So let's go and do a find next. Let's go to the top. Instead of shirt, I'm going to now go and look for shirt. And where's the replace? There we go, replace, right? I'm going to say, look for shirt, and I'm going to replace it with dress. Student M. Moss, you understand, we got to cater for the needs of the females in our class, right?
Oh yeah, I understand, sir.
Yeah, you know how it goes. Otherwise, they're going to, you know, they'll say we're only talking about shirts and everything. You know, there's like students like Marianne and everything, right? Okay, so let's go. We're gonna replace that one there. Yes. Replace that one. Yes. I could have said replace all at one go, you know. And maybe I'll do that quickly. You know, we're running out of time. Oh, so let me see. Are there any females in the class over here? Anybody, any girls here? Marianne.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Yes, sir.
There. We got a struct dress, Marianne. Check it out.
Ah.
Right. What do you think about that, Marianne? You can't call me sexist now, only talking about the males, right? Student M. Moss, you got to make sure you cater for both needs, right? Okay, so let's go for it. Marianne, you ready?
Go for it.
Right. Enter the size of the dress.
I'm going to lie and say 40 to fit my bust.
Okay, 40. Size 40. Okay. What style is the dress? A is for amazing. B is for boring. C is
No,
for...
it isn't. B is for breathtaking. You never call a girl's outfit boring. It's a dating movie.
Breathtaking. Sorry. B is breathtaking. Okay, B is for breathtaking, right? Oh, this is if it's a breathtaking dress, it's going to be pretty expensive, Mary. And how much is it?
Gosh, I don't know. I actually don't buy dresses. So I wouldn't know.
Oh,
Maybe
okay,
one
okay.
of the other ones.
Anybody? The cost of a size 40 breathtaking dress, how much would that be?
Peter, come on, save me.
Okay, doesn't matter, right? And there we go, right? So there we go, 599 Rand, 10 cents. So I've done it, right? Now, the reason I did it like this is I want you to keep a template in mind of how a struct is defined. And by having that template in mind, you are now able to change or adapt it to another example, because that's how it was in the previous exam papers. They asked you to define a struct or to give me, they'll say, they'll use words like declare a struct to give it to me in terms of the field. These are the fields, how would I declare it, right? So you need to have a template in mind, and maybe you want to think of a dress or the shirt example. And when the question appears, and we're going to do this in a few weeks' time, you'd be able to adapt it to the exam question, all right? In fact, the example on the movies in the study guide, that's pretty hectic, that's pretty complicated. I've been doing it for so many years. They never had an example like that in a past year exam, right? And I don't think they're going to do it in 2023 as well. So, hot tip for the exam, learn how to define a struct. And as student M. Moss has told us, a struct, we call it by its name. You've got a full stop or a period or a dot and the name of the field. And the name of the field, you find it's right on the top somewhere out here, where it's in the declaration. All right? How's that for a hot tip for the exam, student M. Moss?
That sounds awesome, sir.
That sounds awesome. Great. So let's go and look at the assessment 3 question. So let's go and look at assessment 3. In assessment 3, they tell me that here's the following struct definition. The struct rectangle data, float length, float width, float area, float perimeter. Which of the following variable declarations is correct? Do I call it rectangle with rectangle data, struct rectangle data, my rectangle, or rectangle data, rectangle equals new rectangle data? So I'm going to keep this on the side. I'm going to keep it next to each other. And remember, I told you how you're going to study this example, student M. Moss? I'm going to say you have a template in mind. You've got a template. And the template that you know is for the guys, you're going to talk about shirts, and for the girls, you're going to talk about dresses, right? Okay, Marianne, you can't accuse me of only worrying about the guys, right, Marianne? Okay, right, cool. So I'm going to write out a program, right? So Marianne, can you see my screen, Marianne? I've got the assignment question on the left-hand side. I've got my, the dress struct on the right-hand side. So Marianne, instead of I have the word dress over there, I'm going to call it rectangle data. Cool, Marianne? Is that okay? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Right.
Yes,
so,
it's very nice and gender neutral.
Thank you very much. No, we are not gender neutral. Okay. Right. So I know time is of the essence. We've got to work fast. So let's go and I'll do the search and I'll do the find and replace after that, right? So I'm going to have rectangledata, rectangle data. Now, Marianne, on the left-hand side, they've got float length. So that's my first field name. So I'm going to take out size out there, and I'm going to call it float length. Now, they don't have style anymore, Marianne. They've got width. F-L-O-A-T, float, W-I-D-T-H, width. Marianne, they've got area. And then they've got float, perimeter, P-R-I-M-E-T-E-R. So now, Marianne, I've declared a struct, right? I've declared rectangle data to be of struct having 1, 2, 3, 4 fields. All of them are of type float, length, width, area, perimeter. So they're quite meaningful, don't you think, Marianne? From if you had to tell me a story sum on this, Marianne, how would you start my story sum, Marianne? Once upon a time,
there was a struct called. Yes, Dr. G. That thing about the kid that kept interrupting the story and was never heard from again. Once upon a time, there was a struct called.
Which kid was that?
I have a little sister. She had this thing about the Lorax movie.
Yes. And someone kept on interrupting them, Marianne.
Yeah, there's this thing, I don't know, the little hero in the story goes out to hear the story about what happened to the trees. And
yes.
Asking, but is there a musical that tells me how to get a tree? Because I'd love to hear that one. And it's the response that he gets. Oh, yes, it's right. The one.
Okay, I'm going to watch that movie again. I remember watching those it's a Dr. Seuss movie, isn't it?
Yeah, I would say those things are always cute, aren't they?
Yeah, come on now, your story sum, come on, story time now. I promise I won't interrupt you.
Yeah, once upon a time, there was a struct called rectangle. It consisted of 4 parameters: length, width, parameter, and area. These were all floats.
Okay. That's right. Fine. Thank you. Right, we've got it's a Sunday afternoon, so that's the intro of the story. Right, lovely. So I like that story. Thank you, Marianne, for the story. Student M. Moss, did you like the story that Marianne just told you?
Oh yes, sir. She did better than me, sir.
No, y'all are equal. Y'all are equal.
You did very well.
Okay. So once upon a time, Marianne's story, they defined a struct called rectangle data. And she correctly pointed out there are 4 fields: length, width, area, and perimeter. And all of them were declared to be float. Thank you, Marianne. Now, Marianne, having a look at my left-hand side. By the way, I don't give out assignment questions and answers there, Marianne, just let you know. I want to know which of these options, A, B, C, or D, would I be able to mimic such that I can now declare a struct in line number 15. Aha! Marianne, student M. Moss.
Yeah, we can't answer that, sir. I would say Abdul fell into that trap last week and I fell into it the week before. Which one of these things? And then I think I said B and he said A. And you're like, shh.
Yeah, I'm not answering either, sir, but I can see the answer already.
Is Abdul back with us? No. Okay. Student M. Moss. Let's look at the options A, B, C, and D. Which one can I just go and knock out?
You can knock out A, sir.
Why?
A and B should go.
A and B should go.
Yeah.
But if I look at line number 15, dress 1 is of type dress. Okay, let's look at the student M. Moss. Did I use the word new out here, M. Moss?
No.
Because option B is correct.
Option B. Is that Abdul?
Yes, sir.
Talk to me, Abdul. Why do you say option B is correct, Abdul?
Well, we're talking in terms of creating or declaring as a struct, right?
Right.
So yes, it needs to, when you're creating a struct, you need to have that keyword, which is more like a data type struct, and then whatever it is that you're creating.
But Abdul, in line number 4, I got the word struct over there, Abdul.
Okay.
Okay, right. So in line number 15, I want you to use line number 15 as a template, as a way of looking at the way I declare a variable called struct rectangle.
So you'll
data.
have to say rectangular data. Rectangular data. That
Oh,
would be your keyword or your type word. Yes, have rectangular data there.
RECTA, right? Rectangular data, right? Will it be dress one?
Well, dress one will definitely now be the name of whatever structure it is that you're creating now.
All right, which is? Let's call it rectangle one, right?
Yes, let's call it rectangle one.
Okay, right. So I'm going to say rectangle one. All right. So now if I'm going to talk about rectangle one, I need to, instead of saying size of the dress, I'm going to say rectangle one dot, I want length. Isn't that so, Abdul?
Sure.
I want length. I don't want size of the dress. I want the length of the rectangle, right?
Okay. And quick question while we're still at it, sir. In terms of structs, is it safe to say they are user-defined data types?
Yeah, you can think of it like that. Yes, that's a nice way of putting it. Yes, you can think of them as being user-defined. Like I mentioned earlier on, Abdul, I'm not sure if you got in the beginning where we talked about having a student record, right? Of student number, surname, name, phone number, address. So that's like a user-defined file. All right, a user-defined file. If I had to have a record for Marianne, a record for student Amos, and a record for Abdul. All right. So Abdul, let's just compile this and see if it's working. Okay, I've made life a little bit easier. I've taken out some stuff there, right? So let me go back to the top there. So let me go and compile this. And I'm compiling it. Hey, look at that, Abdul. Student M. Moss. Student M. Moss.
Yes, sir.
What do you think about that, Student M. Moss?
I think that's brilliant, sir.
Thank you. B is for brilliant, right? Let's go for B is not for boring. Let's go and run this thing now, right? Let's go and run it. Enter the length of the rectangle. So, give me a length of a rectangle there. Student M. Moss. 12. Oh, Marianne, 12. Oh, that's all it does. Okay, Marianne, that's all it does. I now need the width of the rectangle, Marianne.
4.
Well, I still gotta put it in there. I gotta code it, Marianne. Control C. Let's just Control V there. So I need not the length, I need the width.
Yeah.
WIDTH. And my name is called, it's not my rectangle, right? It's your rectangle. Okay, Marianne.
Okay.
You got the joke. Marianne, I made a joke and you laughed. Yay! I'm not talking about my rectangle, I'm talking about your rectangle. Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna do that. All right, let me just run this thing again. Let me just run it again. I'm getting good at my jokes. I'm moving up. Enter the length of the rectangle. Marianne said it was 5. Oh, no, you said 12, right, Marianne? Enter the width of the rectangle, Marianne.
4.
4, thank you. Yay! Hey, it's working. It's lovely. Now I need area. Marianne.
Yes. Okay,
Control
so first
C.
we need to, we need to take width out and we need to retrieve area.
Right. So now I'm not going to say enter the width. I'm going to say enter the area. Thank you. You put straight down. Yeah. Right. Okay. So enter the area of the rectangle. So Marianne, what am I going to change this to? The field. What am I, instead of saying width, I'm going to say?
Area.
Area. Cool. Let's see if it works. Let's go and build and run. Can you see how my strategy of doing a program? One, I change something, I go and build it and run it, and the length again is 12. You said the width is 5. Area of the rectangle, Marianne?
48.
12. How can it be 48? 12 5s are...
12 times 4, 48. Isn't that what we entered? 12 and 4?
4. I said 5. The width of the rectangle is 5.
Oh, all right. Well, then 60.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Right. Oh, that's all it does, Marianne. Marianne, I need one more thing there, Marianne. I need perimeter. How do I get that, Marianne?
We take that area and we put in perimeter so that we can insert a value into that.
Yeah. Copy and paste. which other teacher tells you to copy in your paper, Marianne? Right? Okay.
None of
So
them.
now instead of saying area, I'm going to say perimeter. Enter the
Perimeter.
perimeter, perimeter. And what do I change my field to?
Perimeters.
Perimeter, yeah, PERI. PER, there we go, right? Right, perimeter. Right. Okay, so where did I get all this data from, Miriam? I got it from the definition of my struct. Now, let me just run this thing. Let me just build and run it, build and run it. Build and run. Yay! Enter the length of the perimeter. Student M. Moss, are you there?
Still here, sir.
Great. Give me the length of a rectangle, student M. Moss, who's living in the Val Triangle somewhere there, close to Abdul,
14.
but not so close to Marianne.
14, sir.
Marianne, 14. Okay, Marianne, that was a joke, Marianne. Oh man.
Okay, I'm gonna react. I was also react
I lost it. Okay. Student M. Moss, can you take a small number, man? The length is too big. Right? Let's make it 4, right, please? Okay. Student M. Moss, I want the width of the rectangle, student M. Moss.
5.
5. Like, you know why I want student M. Moss? I want small numbers like this, so that we can work out the area and all of that, right? Now, into the area of this rectangle, it should be 5 times 4, student M. Moss.
20.
Thank you. Give me the perimeter of this rectangle, student M. Moss. It's 18. 18, right? It's 5 plus 4 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. Wow! Student M. Moss, is this cool?
That is
Student
cool,
M.
sir.
Moss, right. But we've only entered the values, student M. Moss. I want to display all of them. Would I be able to do that, student M. Moss?
I think you would, sir.
Right, so Control C, I'm going to copy all that I've done for input, Control V. Now, instead of saying enter the length, I'm going to say the length is, and I'm going to change this from C in to C out. Does this look familiar, student M. Moss?
Yes, it does, sir.
How did I do it, student M. Moss? Where did you see this before?
I believe we did this earlier, sir.
Yeah. Student M was somewhere in the Val Triangle. Let me try this joke again, right? Marianne, get ready to laugh. So student M Moss was somewhere in the Val Triangle, very close to Abdul, but a little bit far away from Marianne. Oh man, I lost the joke. Anyway.
Oh,
She's
so there's
not
an
laughing.
emoji.
Oh, I didn't see the emoji. Okay. But
So
that was a better
little...
attempt at a joke. What you say, Marianne?
Oh, I'm sure you're improving all the time.
Thank you. My wife will tell you she didn't marry me for my sense of humor because I don't have one. Okay. All right. Okay, so there we go. Right, so there we go. And I think student M. Moss, let's put some inlines in there. Is that okay, student M. Moss?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we'd like to see some. Now, make sure that you use your rectangle, right? You don't use my rectangle. How's that for a joke, Marianne?
Very good, sir.
Thank you. You know why? Because my rectangle is what they have in the question, right? And I don't answer assignment questions, and I'm not helpful with y'all with assignment questions, assessment questions, because I'm not supposed to do that. Right, let's build and run. Oops, there's a mistake somewhere here. C in. Oops. Student M. Moss, this is supposed to be a C out, student M. Moss. C-O-U-T, because I'm printing out the area. All right, let's go ahead. And yay, student M. Moss. Are you with me, student M. Moss? Student M. Moss? Student M. Moss, are you with me, student M. Moss?
I'm still here, sir.
Okay, go ahead. Enter the length of a rectangle. Small numbers so we can multiply, all right?
4.
Right, width?
5.
Right. 5 times
It's
4,
20, sir.
20, right? Perimeter, 5 plus 4 is 9 90s. Student Amos,
Yes, sir. I
18.
believe it's 18.
Look at that, look at that. Hello, hello, hello. Hey, see, this is where I miss the face-to-face lectures. You know, if I was in class right now, my students would have given me a clap and my students would have said, well done, yes, sir, we got it right. Oh, man.
Okay, so I think so we must add special effects for clapping and all that, sir.
So there do seem to be, there's this reaction thing, Abdul, but I don't know, where does it actually peak? Because I don't know, I didn't see it.
I think, is it not next to the what's this, when you send a message to the chat or something?
Oh, okay, doesn't matter. Now listen here. Now, you can't use my rectangle anymore, right? Yeah, I mean, you can't use my, you got to use your own rectangle, okay? Okay, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Right,
use
so
your
you use your
rectangle, sir.
own, your
Yes, sir.
student Amos.
Yes,
Student
sir.
Amos, you must use your rectangle, okay?
Yes.
Right? Ah, you got the joke. Miriam, here's my joke. Miriam,
Very good.
do I help you all with the assignment questions, Miriam?
No, sir.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I said the assignment is gone. So I think they're already preparing us for the exam now. In terms of the assignment,
Yeah, man, exactly. Oh, you're a rectangle, right? So I want you, instead of saying that takes too long, you know, I always tell you to work fast, right? Work fast, because in the exams, they also test you on your speed. So I'm going to say, wherever I have a rectangle 1, I want to replace it with your rectangle. RECTANGLE. How's that? How's that? Right, let me see. Replace. Yeah. Right. How's this now? So let's talk about the story again now, right? Once upon a time, there was a question in the exam, which not in the exam, in the assessment. It was question number 60, the last question in the assessment 3. They asked me to consider a struct definition. And they wanted me to go and select the right answer, A, B, C, or D. In my struct, I declared it to be rectangle data. My struct has 4 fields in it. The 4 fields were length, width, area, and perimeter. And all of them were of type float. Then I declared your rectangle in line number 15. Marianne, here's my joke. Now you. Thank you, Abdul. Thank you, Abdul. M. Moss, you got the joke, M. Moss?
Yes, sir.
Ah, thank you. Do I have a sense of humor, M. Moss? Is this funny?
Yes, sir, you are getting there.
Ah, thank you. Okay, so your rectangle is of rectangle type. In line number 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, I went and entered the value for length, width, area, and perimeter into my struct. And then in line number 32 to line number 39, 40, 41, I went and displayed the values from my struct. Ta-da! The car took a bin, the story was the end. Oh, Abdul, you should be sleeping by now. I told you a bedtime story.
No, I'm still here. I'm still awake.
Okay. Thank you. But student M. Moss, did you learn about a struct? Did you learn how to access the struct? Did you learn about how to, enter values into a struct and how to display values from a struct, student M. Moss?
Yes, sir.
Great. You think if this comes out in the exam, you'd be able to define a struct, student M. Moss?
I think I would, sir.
I'm sure you will, right? Abdul,
Yes, sir.
if you were
I'm
answering
listening.
question number 60 for assessment 3, you think you'd be able to find out which is your rectangle or my rectangle?
Yes, I would.
Okay, Marianne, will you use my rectangle or your rectangle as an answer to get the to answer question 60, Marianne?
Also, sir, sorry?
Yes, Marianne. My rectangle or your own rectangle?
Our rectangle.
Your rectangle.
Oh, you're going to use my rectangle.
Why don't we make it our rectangle once?
Okay,
I think that's
okay.
a good idea. I mean, we work
Okay, our rectangle. All right. Okay, all right. So consider the following struct definition. Every struct will have its own name and the fields inside of it, right? So there's my struct. There's my 4 fields. There's a struct type, like how I defined it. I think student Abdul mentioned something about having a kind of a user-defined data type. You can think of it like that, right? So there's my user-defined data type. And they confused us in line number A or option A. They called it rectangle and rectangle data, but we didn't get confused, right, Abdul? Right, student Moss? Okay, we weren't confused. We weren't confused, right? And we even wrote a little program to answer the question. And now I have the output for it as well, right? Input and output. The only thing we don't have out here is any what can I say? Any processing that takes place, right? But I could have done that as well. I could have done processing using either your rectangle.length multiplied by your rectangle.width, okay? And I would have got the area. So I don't have to go and enter in the area of the rectangle. It's already 1 o'clock. How about that as a forthcoming attraction? Next week, Saturday. Oh, no. Next week, Saturday, I'm not going to be here again. Next week, Sunday, we'll have a computation taking place on the struct, right? But I think that's more for enrichment. Over the past 2 papers, they never had a question where you had to do some manipulation on the fields in a struct. But then I could be wrong because maybe they'll do that in the 2023 paper, right? But I'll still show it to you. Okay. Do I have any questions? Yes.
Yes, sir. For next week's session, can we also add classes as well? Because classes and structs are related, but there's a a difference between the two. So I'd like us to tackle that if you can add it onto our agenda for next week as well.
We could, but Abdul, classes are not included in the exam, right? For course 1511. If you notice, they say, if you look at my study guide, I know over the years they put it down. Let's look at the study guide. These classes, right? Classes is towards array of structs. Purpose of this is to provide you with, right, listen to this, Abdul. It says, although it is not the purpose of the study guide to explain object-oriented programming, this last lesson shows how the concept that we have covered for the building blocks, remember, right? So they don't really have time to test you on classes in course 1511. However, in 1512, yep. And if I looked at any past papers for 1511, they haven't really, done a class with the students. All right. Okay. So my main primary objective is to pass you, to get y'all to pass and to start to deal with course 1511 stuff. All right. So we'll do a little bit more.
Course 1511 and course 1512. What is actually the difference between the two?
Okay. So course 1511, I'm the e-tutor. Okay, so course 1511. Thank you. Was that a good joke, Marianne?
Sure.
Thank you. So course 1511 is, you can think of it as being the foundation, the prerequisite to 1512, right? And I always feel that a student needs to get going with 1511, well, so that they can answer 1512. 1512 is like a building block to 1511, in my opinion, right? But many students do both simultaneously. However, I noticed in the last couple of years, they made sure that the assignment 1 for 1511 was due way before the assignment 1 for 1512. All right?
Yeah,
okay.
1512 is a bit heavy. Okay, sir.
Right.
So see you next week then, says 2 o'clock.
Yay, 2 o'clock. Time flies when you're having fun, isn't that so, Marianne?
Very.
Even our robot lady is yet to end the recording. So that's how fun she's.
Yes.
Enjoying the lesson.
Exactly. Robot lady, you didn't. Okay. Get ready to end the recording. Wait. Let me get my thingy. Righty. Robot.
This meeting has been completed. Recording ended.